Let's see who all will come. So 2 people. Hi everyone. Let's wait for some time to more people to join. I can just see 3 people right now. It's my first live, so I don't expect a lot of people to join, but let's see. You guys can keep sharing your questions in the chat as and when you want to ask anything. While we are a few people in the live session, it's good for us. We can interact well. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible? Hello. Hi. Can someone drop me a message if I'm audible? Thank you, Shreyas. Thank you for letting me know. As I said, this is the first time I'm doing a live session, so a lot of things are new for me. It was the first time that I saw this whole live stream dashboard of YouTube, and there are so many things. So I'm still exploring. This session is about a basic Q&A session. uh, Anyone can join. People, if you are a beginner or a fresher, if you have any confusion, you're still in college, you don't know what to learn, or if you're stuck somewhere, maybe related to your career or anything, you guys can post your questions. So let's make it interactive. Let's uh, uh, don't hesitate from asking anything. Any question is a good question. So whatever confusions you have, you guys can drop in. Let's chat and utilize these 45 minutes in knowing each other and general chit chat. So while anyone post a question, I can just share. So at Study Tonight, what we do is we have a small product, studytonight.com. You guys can access it there. And our attempt is to basically build a software, build a small application where anyone, even a college student or a school student, can go and learn to code. We start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So web development, I think, is a good start for any beginner to get into coding, because when you learn HTML and CSS and JavaScript, you create websites and web pages, and that provides a very good motivation to anyone who is very new to learn to code. Because if you are into Java and C++, mostly the code are run on the back end, and you cannot see what you are doing. Yes, the outputs can be seen, but web development is a very good way to get introduce yourself to coding. So that's what StudyTonight do. StudyTonight has a interactive application where you can go and write code, actual code. So it's not. I personally don't think, and I think that's the right way. So you cannot sort of learn coding by watching videos or by reading text tutorials. You have to actually write code to learn coding, and that's what we provide in StudyTonight.com application. So we have a couple of questions. XRTYS, what if you take a break from technical line and venture into a different sector? How difficult is it to make a comeback? So personally speaking, I did this myself. My break was into entrepreneurship. So before Study Tonight, or while I was working on Study Tonight, I worked for another product, DeliMedi. It was online pharmacy where we had a small product where anyone can order medicines, and we used to deliver them in a, an average time of 3 hours. So I joined it as chief technical lead, and I worked on the product. It didn't work out well, And when you work in a startup of 4 or 5 people, corporates don't actually, now it's still very, welcoming. But back then, it was not very welcoming. And when I had to get back to doing a job after, the startup didn't work out, I personally faced a lot of struggle. What helped me was the network, because I had worked initially before that as well, and I had a lot of friends in the industry. So that helped me a lot to actually, get back into the industry. So I think right now the industry is very open to a lot of things. So online colleges are there, online degrees are there, people are upskilling themselves using different products. So what you I think the break doesn't count. You just have to, improve, work on your skill. And if you know what you're doing, I think you can easily crack an interview. And this is a small question. You just have to have an answer, a good answer for this. Why do you go? Why do you take that break? If you have that answer and you are good technically, I think anyone would be happy to, give you a job. Shangru, sir, I want job. Which language should I study? What language is required in companies? There are a lot of. It's a very uh, generic question, but there are a lot of directions that a fresher or a beginner can take. You can be a web developer, you can be a backend developer, a front end developer, a full stack developer. DevOps is something I wouldn't recommend to a fresher or a beginner because it's a little tough. But yeah, web development is a very good uh, uh, skill to have and to start, because there are a lot of jobs. We personally hire web developers, and a lot of jobs in India. I won't say large jobs, but the jobs that are massively available around in the market. The salaries wouldn't be that good, but yes, it's a very good way to start your career, because in India, what we face is freshers don't get a job, and once you get a job, then only you can showcase your skills. So getting that first job is very important. I think web development is a very good way to do that. So learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. JavaScript is the main part here, so you must know JavaScript, and do a couple of projects. I think this is good enough to get you started with a job in a company. Bharat Agarwal has asked, can you provide a resource from where I can learn system design step by step? There are a lot of YouTube channels that you can follow. Medium also has a lot of blogs. So I personally, follow Hotstar blog. There are a lot of, so you have to understand how system design works. System design is basically designing systems on scale, and when someone has done that, they are in the best position to explain it. So Hotstar is a product which that has a very good system design in place, because when you see a live stream for a cricket match or any football match, there are millions of people watching it at the same time. Handling that sort of traffic, handling that sort of data, ingress and egress, is very difficult. So personally, I really like reading blogs written by Hotstar developers, and you can find it on Medium. There's available. Hotstar as a dedicated blog. Similarly, there are different companies who post good blogs, what they're doing. Netflix has a very good technical blog where they keep on sharing how they are solving the problems that they have faced in the past. Trivago, personally, StudyNote is run on PHP. So I follow Trivago's blog because Trivago is also a website that was initially written in PHP and then moved on to Node.js, and they use Redis server, Redis cache to speed up their processes. So these, big product companies do share their technical problems and what solutions they came up with on their blogs, and that is a very good, reading material to get actual insights on how big products in the industry are dealing with system design problems, and then you can easily get into system design. Otherwise, there you can watch YouTube videos. A lot of people do create videos on system design. I can even recommend a few books, but I'll have to check. You can DM me on Instagram, find study.tonight, and DM us, and I'll definitely share a couple of books with you. Reading books, because system design is more of theory, of understanding how things work, and then only you can actually start bringing the pieces together. XRTI says, I mean, I studied CS, but I went into completely different line, and not much of that technical stuff was necessary. Now, if I want to get back to coding, where do I start? like I said, it's not necessary that where you went in, because a lot of people these days are shifting their career from known coding jobs to coding jobs, and the only thing required and the only thing asked in interviews is what you know. Experienced people, be it from operations or sales or marketing, if you have experience of how an industry works or how you work with the team, is very important, even if you are from a different background. So if you have that and you have coding skills, you have acquired those coding skills which are required, pick any language. If you want to, you don't want to get into the trouble of learning different languages or web development, just pick one language and focus on data structures. If you can, you can learn basic data structures and algorithms. It's all about practice and mathematics. So if you can do that, I think that's also more than enough to get you into get you back into the coding background jobs. So what should I do or refer for preparing for MCACET 2022? I actually am not sure what MCA 2022 CET is. uh, this is a very state specific exam, and personally I don't know much about it. It's saying that it's Maharashtra MCA common entrance test, so this is particularly for MCA entrance exam. Really sorry, buddy Adi, I don't have much idea about that. Bharat Agrawal is saying my math is not much good. Can I become a good developer without math? Yes, of course you can become a good developer without math. So when a lot of people have this misconception that math is, you should be good in mathematics if you want to be good programmer. Yes, if you have that skill, it's very good. Otherwise, if, for example, if you're a web developer, all you have to do is create good designs. You can become a front-end developer if you like, if you're a little creative. And again, like I said, being a front-end developer is more motivating, because you get to see what you're creating. So it's a very good step one. Then when it comes to backend, a lot of things are just about creating services which are able to interact with the database and provide data to the front end, if I'm making any sense here. So database is a place where the data is kept, and the website is a place where the data is displayed to the user. So backend developer is mostly responsible for making these two pieces meet, and some other logic executions are also there. So no, not much of math is required here, but yes, when as you progress with your coding skills, uh, and you venture into more complex algorithms, then mathematics is required. And if you're good with maths, then your I would say math as well, logical ability and analytical thinking are more important when it comes to programming. Yes, if you want to get into machine learning and AI, then also math, statistics parts of math is required. And if you're good with that, again, it will work for you. But don't worry, if you're not good with math, you still can be a good developer. Vipin, is no code, low code is a good option now? I have 4.5 years experience in PHP JS. No code and low code, I am not able to understand, Vipin. But if you have 4.5 years of experience in PHP JS, I think you must have worked on a couple of web products. And if you know JS, I keep on recommending this to a lot of people. So I personally know a couple of languages. I worked with Java, I worked with PHP, I worked with Python, and these days working with JS, JavaScript mainly. So if you're into PHP and into web development, Node.js is a very good next step to pick, because you are very well versed with web development. You're very well versed with how backend development and all that stuff works. So Node.js is just an extension to it. Now, when initially you were doing that all that stuff in PHP, now you can start doing that in JavaScript. So I would seriously recommend you to think about getting into Node.js. Don't worry about React or anything. Just try building a few backends in Node.js. Express.js is a very good add-on to that, because if in PHP you've been writing REST services and all that stuff, then Node.js and Express is a very good combination that you should definitely pick. We personally, like I said, studied tonight, so we have a small website, sitewide.com. You guys can check it out. It was initially written in PHP because back when I was in college, I knew PHP. But now we have slowly started transitioning towards JavaScript-based frameworks. React.js is there. We're writing REST services in Node.js. So those things, we are trying those things out. and that's a very natural transition, because PHP has certain limitations. You cannot make it perform after a certain given point of time, so you have to switch frameworks. And these days these JavaScript frameworks, Express, React, Next.js, they are super good. So you have to, if you have to keep up with the changing landscape, you have to learn it. Xartist has another question. What do I need to study for basics for learning Python? So I can, drop you a link which you can use to sort of, get your hands on with Python. It's a very good, simple course. I personally wrote it, so I know that, it's good. Uh, you can start with this. There are a couple of code examples. We also have compilers live on the website. You can run those codes and see the outputs. There are a lot of things of practicing as well. There is Python projects, a list of 20 odd projects as well on the website, which you can try. So yeah, Python is not that difficult to learn, so I guess you won't face much problem. But yes, also we are working on an interactive course for Python. Right now, working on a Go language course. So Go language is also a very good language. I have recently discovered it, and I personally like it very much. So I've been working on an interactive course for that. I think freshers in India should also consider learning Go language rather than Python. Adi Wag, sir, I'm placed in a company with 1.8 per annum package. I will be completing my BSc Computer Science degree soon. Should I go for the job or for masters? Uh, now this is a personal choice that you will have to make. If you don't have to, immediately worry about making money, then I would say go for masters, because once you get into job, it's very difficult to get out of job and to pursue your studies. So, you should just go ahead and do your masters, and then probably, get a better package and get placed. Otherwise, if you feel like, okay, you need some experience, then you can go ahead and take this job. Don't focus on the package. Take it as an internship. Initial 1 year or 2 years is all about learning. Is all about understanding how things work, how actual products work, how the planning goes into those products, how those products are built from scratch then deployed. So those things are very crucial, which is generally missed. It's generally missing from the college curriculum. So that's very important to understand. And I think initially that's the best part that you get in a job. Bharat Agrawal, Node.js is not able to handle more traffic, I've heard. No, and that's not the case. So it again, it depends on the system design. Node.js can handle a lot of traffic, and a lot of scalable products, a lot of scalable systems have been designed in Node.js. Uh, we are working, like I said, we are working on a REST service that will be working on Node.js. We also have a different REST service written in Django. I think Django and Node both sort of behave similarly. And when it comes to handling more traffic, it's more about having proper load balancers in place, having proper system design in place. Horizontal scaling should be there, and if you have all those things in place, Node.js is definitely it can easily scale to handle any traffic. Vipin, sure understood. Glad I was able to explain anything. Jay Kumar, hi sir, big fan. Thank you, Jay. Tosi Patel, which is better to choose between full stack Java or JavaScript, or for developer roadmap? I think full stack Java would require you to sort of learn a couple of more things than Java. These days, JSP and Servlet don't work, although I'm not sure whether they're teaching those things in college or not. But no, a lot. I don't think people are still using JSP and Servlet to create products. Spring framework is there and Spring Boot is there. So if you want to get into full stack Java, then you have to learn Spring framework and you have to learn Spring Boot, because Spring Boot is required to sort of create good and functional REST services, secure REST services, fast performing REST services for websites, for web applications. So you have to learn Spring Boot, because that is something right now the market, the industry is using. Most of them are, if there are good products, they're using that. And if you learn full stack in Java, you will have to learn JavaScript as well, because full stack requires front end and back end development both. So for front end, you do have to learn JavaScript anyways. You have to have knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, basic knowledge of these scripting languages. Otherwise, you cannot build front ends, right? And then for the backend, you'll have to do Java. On the other hand, JavaScript provides a better prospect because that is included in the front end as well and the back end as well. So if you are, if you're just starting right now, I think JavaScript is a very good choice. Node.js, you can pick Moan stack. It's super hot right now. MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. React is little tricky at times for a beginner, but I think basic JavaScript you can start with, then go move on to Node.js and Express. Try to connect both these things. Full stack development is all about that. React is just a good library to handle everything on the front end in a better way. So yeah, I would recommend if you're starting afresh, JavaScript is a better choice. Bharat Agrawal, scalability depends on language or good code or servers. Scalability depends on, I would say, all of these things. Language is third, then comes good code, and on the first is servers. So, and servers, not servers, it's about how you design, again, the system that you're creating. So I'll talk something, I'll try to explain this by giving the example of Study Tonight. So initially, when I started Study Tonight, it was just one single code base in PHP, MySQL, the typical LAMP, stack which everyone uses. So I felt, it was very simple for me to do that. So I created the website in that. Then as we moved on, I realized that this thing, if we have to scale it, if we have to make a lot of people use it, then we'll have to move away from this monolithic design. So monolithic design is a design where everything is running on the same server, close, tightly linked. Then we moved on to AWS. So now, right now, what the setup is, and we drastically changed in the last 1.5 years, we've changed the setup. So our application is running on one server. It communicates with MySQL server, which is running separate as a service on AWS. So two things are detached, right? Then we have compilers. So that is running on DigitalOcean. It's a Django application which runs on DigitalOcean, utilizes Kubernetes. There are different ports for different programming languages, right? Third piece is different. Then we have MongoDB, which is holding data for our interactive application, which is built on React. So it's again a cloud-based service, separated. So when the pieces are separate and independent performing, then scalability becomes easier. So right now, for me, if I have to sort of increase the power of SiteMind server, move the website to a different server, I just have to worry about the application code because everything else is already on different servers. I don't have to worry about anything. So then the scalability question is a very simple problem for me. It does depend on language as well. Some languages do have barriers. Like I said, Go is a very good language. So Go language is a very modern language. So it's meant for concurrent executions and speed, and it's very simple. So that is a language which actually helps you to scale the product in a good way. Otherwise, the old languages work the same way. I don't think programming language has a say in this. Good code is absolutely, when you write an application, if you write it in a good way, it will definitely help. And server, I just explained, it's about system design. It's about how you segregate, how you divide the whole application into pieces where it works. Adivag, sir, the company is Wipro, and under its WILP program, it will be providing us MTech degree sponsored by BITS or any other institute, but the only problem is the bond is too long, 5 years. I think I have heard about this. So if they are also providing you an MTech degree, I think that only takes 2 years. That itself takes 2 years. And then for another 3 years, you'll have to stick with Wipro. When we are freshers, we think that a bond of 2-3 years is a very long bond. And it is for some people, but I think the initial 2-3 years are always about learning. If you spend that time in good company learning, yes, again, if you don't get any project assigned, it's of no use. But if you have good projects assigned to you and you're working in that company, uh, Adivag is saying those are the degree is 4 years. So if the degree is 4 years long, then the bond is just 1 year. They're giving you an educational degree for 4 years, and then for 1 year they are asking you to work with them. I think that's totally fine. You should go with it, buddy. Uh, you will not even realize when how fast 1 year goes. when you are working on a product or you're working with a team, it's super, it's a very short span to understand even what is being done. Uh, when I joined my first company, it took me about 6 months to 7 months to understand the code base itself, that what is being done, what is written where, and how things are working together. And it took me an entire year to understand, how those pieces work together to actually deploy the whole setup by myself. So big softwares do require time. You cannot just say, okay, I'll work for there for 3 or 6 months and I'll understand everything. That's not how it works. So I think you should go for it. uh, no, I think, yeah. So any other questions? We have a very few people, but I think that's good. We can utilize it in a better way by asking questions, and I can answer every question. Microsoft Azure gave us future, I mean, better salary. Cloud will actually give you a better salary. It's not necessarily Microsoft Azure. AWS is also very good. So I personally use AWS. I also use DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is a little easier to initially understand in terms of services and initial setups. But yes, I think AWS is a better choice, far better choice. Microsoft Azure, again, a very good choice when it comes to cloud related services. Google Cloud Platform is also very good. To begin with, you can even pick Heroku. A lot of companies around the world use Heroku to host their applications. I have not personally used it very well. I just have small encounter with Heroku. I once used it just to create a video for Instagram. But it is a good app, good hosting service, good cloud service. Microsoft Azure. If you are into if you have inclination towards Microsoft related technologies, you sort of enjoy working with Windows operating system and IAS. So I think then you can definitely go with Microsoft Azure. Otherwise, AWS is also very good, a service when it comes to cloud development. And if you want to get a good salary, if you want to get a good job, cloud-based services, if you have an understanding of these things, it's super hot right now. It's a lot, it's very much in demand. I personally, I've been working on. I'm going through a lot of tutorials to get AWS certification. So I just wanted to do it, although I have used about 20 plus services of AWS. But I just thought, why not go for an AWS certification? So I am personally working on that, doing watching videos and just revising, because it's more of theoretical. The initial first step is very theoretical, and I almost know everything, but I just have to revise and know the question, because it costs about 7,500 rupees to give that certification test. Bharat Agrawal, do you take live class to teach? I don't take live class to teach. I've been thinking of doing that, but right now I'm not doing that. Uh, right now I'm focusing more time on building studytonight.com. Like I said, you should try it. Everyone who has joined this live session, please do try once studytonight.com. It's a super interesting website, super cool. You just have to free to use, anything you can use. There's so many tutorials. You can easily do exercises. There's small projects. You can create a portfolio. So if you're into web development, it's a very good place for you to be. Do live coding, create portfolios, understand how CSS grid system works, flexbox work, how JavaScript works, create a stopwatch application in JavaScript. Everything is guided, and trust me, you'll enjoy it. uh, Ali Wag, sir, how much should I practice or write code to master a language completely, which is best, writing or typing? Uh, Initially, when you learn, if you are a traditional sort of person, if you're reading from books or you're watching videos, then definitely you should write, because when you write, you learn. But eventually you'll have to type code. There is no other option for learning to code. If you have to master coding, or if you have to just learn coding, mastering is the next step. If you have to learn coding, you'll have to write code. There's no substitute to writing code. And that's what, like I mentioned, on stereotype.com, we have built an application such a way that for example, to learn CSS, you have about 147 exercises. So in every exercise, every lesson, you get to learn something, and then you have to write code to move on to the next exercise. There are hints, you get coins. So all that system is in place because, I know, and I think everyone who codes knows that, there's no other way. You have to write code, otherwise you cannot just watch videos and learn coding. Kashyap NIT, sir, which cloud computing platform is tough? Cloud computing platforms are tough if you haven't have good enough experience with it. I think you can start with uh, it's a for me, how I learned, and I think I'm lucky enough to have learned that way. So I started with a shared hosting. So I had a small website, straightway.com, and when I got out of college, I wanted to host it. I was completely blank. I haven't hosted any website back then, and I was very scared. I used to ask my friends to get me in touch with their elder brothers who are working in companies to teach me, to guide me how to host a website. But then one day I did bought a hosting service and I did it myself. So shared hostings are easy to manage. Then comes VPS. So it was a good transition for me. As the website grew, the traffic increased, we moved on to VPS. So I learned how VPS is managed, and then recently we moved on to AWS, and then I had to learn AWS as well. The companies where I worked, they also moved on to AWS and different services, so I got to learn there. But if you want to learn any cloud computing platform, you can only learn it by creating services and by hosting services. So pick a small application and try to host it on any of the cloud computing platform. Any application. It can be a Node.js application, a Java application, a Python application, whatever you want. Just pick it and try to put it live. You can create a REST service if you know how to create REST services in Java or in Python, and then just put it on a hosting service and try to hit it, and then work more on it. There are so many load balancer tools which you can use to push a lot of traffic on the services that you have built, to load test it. So there are a lot of things. You'll have to start playing around with cloud computing services to learn it. That's the only way. Matlab, I actually learned that way. Nikhil Jose, can we expect more content on Docker and K8 in SiteRun? I think you mentioned this in the comment as well. Right now, I personally feel that I have to do this, and I am, these days actually I'm working on Docker and Kubernetes because, like I said, Study Tonight has a small part of its application. The compilers that we have for programming language runs on Kubernetes and Docker, and we are facing a lot of problems with it, scaling problems, and a lot of other things. So I am reading every day about Docker and Kubernetes, and very well, I want to share it with SiteNet users, and I want to write content, but I'm not finding time. But I will definitely, that is in my bucket list, that is in my to-dos, that I have to create more content for Docker and K8 on SiteNet. It can be in form of YouTube videos, or it can be in form of textual content, but I'll definitely do it. Tausif Patel, will you use SiteNet for JavaScript? Will you use, or will you use? Tausif, you should definitely use SiteNet for JavaScript learning. It's very good. You'll really like it. Sometimes, so a lot of people are learning. You get a certificate as well at the end of completing the course. And one amazing thing is that we're working on bringing NFTs to Study Tonight, where it's a very interesting thing. And right now we're working on it. It will take a couple of weeks to actually go live. So when that goes live, anyone who completes a course on Study Tonight will be will get an NFT at the end of the course. So NFT is a non-fungible token. It's related to blockchain and cryptos, not cryptos but blockchain. So you'll get a small certificate, like unique NFT that you can keep to yourself, upgrade it by doing more courses. So we're working on those lines to make learning more interesting on Study Tonight. XRTYS, is the website free for use? Titanite, yes, it's currently free for use. It's based on coin system. So as you do courses, you earn coins, and then you can use those coins to do more projects. So more or less, maximum part of the website is free. There's so many ways to earn coins. You can learn HTML, you can do exercises, earn coins, then use those coins to do CSS projects or JavaScript projects. So yes, most of it is free. Bharat, For front end, which one do you prefer, React or Angular? I would prefer React any day. Although when Angular 1 was launched, I would say I can, definitely say I was the first one to go for it, Angular. And I created one very important section of site right in Angular 1 and Angular 2. But I don't think Angular is a stable product. I don't know about right now because after the release of initial 1 and 2 version, they changed so many things that I stopped using Angular and React. So right now we're working with React. React is a very good library for JavaScript, and it's just super amazing. I think if you're starting and if you want to stick with front end, I would seriously recommend go with React. React is a way better choice than Angular. Personally, I may be biased, but I think I would go with React any day. Adiva, can you create a Telegram group which will help you stay connected with you continuously? We do have a Telegram group. Uh, I am not a part of it, but uh, you know, uh, my team handles it, and I think we can do more of these live sessions. But I'm very active on Instagram, so I'll just type in my handle on Instagram. It's @study.tonight, and I try to sort of reply to every DM I receive there. So that is a very good way to connect with me. I also have another Instagram profile for the people who like Hindi. Small reels just to share any technical sort of concept in just 60 seconds. I try to do that, and I've posted a couple of reels, so you should definitely check it out. Tosif, any suggestion or examples for Moan projects for interview and resumes? There are a lot of Moan projects that you can do. A basic portfolio is also very good. If you have a good portfolio created, which can showcase both front end capacity or skill that you have, and if you can have small backend attached to it, like basic contact us form is also fine. You don't have to write a complete backend. You can use a service for it as well. So those things really portray in front of the person who's taking your interview that you have done actually something. So don't just do projects for the sake of doing it. For example, uh, you work on any random project. Even if you pick one single project, make sure that you do it end to end. So for example, the portfolio application, pick a domain name. You can easily find very cheap domain names, or if even if you don't get any domain name, make sure you host it. Use GitHub pages or Netlify to host it, but host it, and make it work, make the things work. And you should be able to explain to anyone who asks you that what you have done in a very in such a way that the other person should not feel that you have copy pasted most of the code, because generally that's what we do when we do projects. We do copy paste code from different internet sources. I would say work it on from scratch, because when you do that, when you work on anything from scratch, you have a different level of confidence. You can explain every bit and piece of it, and that's what interviewer generally seeks. I personally, when I take interviews, I never ask for anyone what projects they've done or what programming languages they know. I just talk to them about their experiences with programming, and I just discuss different problems with them. And if someone has worked in a couple of projects, they would have some sense of some understanding of those things. If you haven't worked on any, if you haven't built anything and you just have projects on your resume, uh, you will get stuck somewhere. Arivag, sir, can you please? So one project you can pick weather project. You can you weather application. You can do to do project to do sorry application. So there's so many small applications that you can create, but pick one. I would still suggest pick one and make it very good. Even if you pick a to do application, just pick one to do application and make it super functional, where you can add tasks, delete tasks, maybe share tasks, and you store everything in Mongodb. You keep history of tasks, show them cut. So if you make all those things, that's good enough. Adivak sir, can you please share your experience journey with us in corporate world? I have worked for about 9-10 years in the corporate industry. I graduated in 2013 and I joined Siemens. And all this while, so in 2013 itself, I created Study Tonight as well, because that's when I got out from college and I wrote a lot of tutorials and I hosted it on Study Tonight. So while I was working in Siemens, I was also working on Study Tonight. So, and that's a very good thing. And back then it used to be very tough for me that I was not able to sort of manage both those things. But now when I look back, I feel like I have experience of web development in PHP, JavaScript, and various other JavaScript frameworks, and I've worked on a super nice product in Java as well. So not a lot of people who are into web development with JavaScript related frameworks know Java, but I do, because that was my bread and butter back then. I used to work with Siemens, and the product was super huge product. Like I said, it took me about an year to understand what they were doing. They were dealing with big data, and it was super duper data management work there. And queues were written, active MQs were used, Kafka, a lot of other super amazing softwares and services were being used. So that was a very good learning experience for me, and I'm trying to use everything that I've learned in Stride right now. After Siemens, I also worked at Delimedi, a startup. I was the main person handling the technology part there. We created an application, and we had a website. I was also involved in operations. So the journey has been a sine wave, ups and downs. I again got back. So after Delhi Medi, I got back into Emeter Corporation, which is again a Siemens company, owned company. Like I said, it was all through networks. It is at times difficult to get back into the industry once you have had a break and you have worked at a position which is very high above than your experience level, because people don't take someone who's just 4 years of experience, has worked as a CTO for a company. So I had to face that as well. But yeah, I always used to explain that it's not about the years of experience you have, it's about the kind of work that you have done. Right now, since last 2 years, I'm working full time on Stritonite, building Stritonite into something that I feel proud of, and user around the world can use to learn how to code, like I once did. We're also working on bringing the content in Hindi and in different languages, so that especially people in India can use just a smartphone and learn how to code. You don't need a laptop, because in Study Tonight, everything works in the browser itself. You have to write code there. It gets compiled in the backend, so you don't have to install anything in your laptop. Also, you just have to open the website and start learning. That's it. Yeah, so that was more or less my career in the corporate world. I want to design a chat application. Can you provide me a resource? There are so many, resources out there for chat application. You can go with Node.js. Socket programming is very good with Node.js. It's super easy to do that. Actually, Node.js was built for socket programming. So I think pick it's even if you open the official documentation of Node.js, they have created a chat application. They are using Node.js. So follow that. You'll be able to do it. Ariana Ariaga, what do you do to brainstorm? It is sometimes difficult. Talk to someone who's more intelligent to you, but if you're not able to find such person, I like I said, someone asked the question here that how do you learn about system design? So there are a lot of videos on YouTube where people talk about system design of TikTok, system design of Twitter, and so those are very basic videos, I would say. But yes, you should start with those. But if you want to get real insights of how people are working on their products, read the technology blogs that these products write. Like Netflix has a technology blog where they post about what problems they faced and how they solved it. Hotstar has a very amazing technology blog where they write about what technology stack they use, what services they use to sort of stream live videos to millions and millions of users. And Trivago has a very good technology blog. Airbnb has a very good technology blog. So these web products I personally want to write technology blogs for StraighterNet because we also, as a small company, are solving small problems, and I'm very sure a lot of people, a lot of beginners would face those problems. But we're not doing that for now. But you can follow those, technology blogs to get an understanding. So I brainstorm while reading those technology blogs with myself. If I have, for example, if I have to implement Redis, I'll find I remember I once found Trivago, a blog on Trivago, how they moved to Redis and how Redis helped them improve the speed of their website. That was very helpful for me to get insights. So those things work. Reading helps. Nikolose, what can we expect you from Straight Right? Any course, YouTube videos? YouTube videos I'm working on. I'm, a little, I wouldn't say shy, but yeah, at times I uh, tend to work on things that are off video on the back end. But yes, I'm working on a couple of videos. Like you must have also seen the best 7 programming language video. The next one is about front end and back end. Then there's a video for full stack development. So I'm creating a video series of explaining different roadmaps and breaking down. So I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where people explain roadmaps, but those are very vague videos. So I've been creating those on Instagram. So that can be explained in 60 seconds. People are taking 10 to 15 minutes to talk about the same thing. So what I want to do in terms of roadmap is to explain step by step with mentioning the concepts that one should focus on if they want to do anything. For example, DevOps, cloud computing, front end, back end, full stack. There's so many things. How to learn Java, what topics to focus while you learn on Java. If you're learning C++, what to focus on, and where to stop if you're a beginner, where to stop if you want to if you have an experience of 2 3 years. So those kind of videos I want to make, because I've seen roadmaps on YouTube. I don't like a lot of videos, but yes, some are good, some are not. So those things I'm working on. Yes, I'm also working on extending the DBMS series. So the DBMS playlist that we have created, a lot of people love it, and I want to make more videos in it. It takes time to sort of create those videos which have perfect examples and are perfectly timed, not too long, not too short, and we are able to explain everything. So I'm working on similar video for the DBMS course. The I wouldn't say course, but yes, more parts of DBMS learning, and for object-oriented programming as well. So you will see all these videos coming up in the next month, in July, and in consecutive months. And I plan to do more live sessions as well. So, but yes, you guys have to suggest me what we can talk about. Or I think this is also a very good way to communicate. I'll get to know you guys. Graham Pawar says, "Good evening. I think it's 8:18. We have exhausted the time that we had of 45 minutes. And it was very good to talk to you all guys. Tosif, Adi, Bharat. I think you guys have utilized the session very well. XRTYS, Kashyap and IT. A lot of good questions from you as well, my friend. Vipin, good to talk to you. Uh, Graham Pawar has a question. So, can you suggest books for developing knowledge of TSA? I have one book. I don't remember its name. It's in my office. I can send you a picture. I have posted the handle for my Instagram here for Straighternight's handle for Instagram. DM me. I'll definitely, if you're on Instagram, I hope you are. Otherwise, I don't know, on YouTube you can send a message or not, but I'll share the book picture or the book name with you. I'm forgetting the name, but it's a very nice book to especially made to crack interviews. So, and I believe you are developing knowledge of DSA to crack interviews. So yeah, that book will help you. Are there any courses in SQL? There is a course in SQL. It's a basic tutorial. That's where the DPMS normalization thing started, which is one of the most popular videos that I have on Straight Tonight YouTube channel. So yes, we do have. You can go on Straight Tonight and search for DBMS or SQL. You'll find a lot of tutorials out there. We also have a playground where you can actually run those SQL queries and see how they work with different tables. I can share the link for that playground. You'll find a lot of, there's a sample table already built there, and all you have to do is just write SQL queries. So what you can do is you can learn SQL from Straight to Write website, and you can then so this is the link. Here you can find the playground for SQL, and you can run queries here, and here you can find the tutorial. Arivag, there comes a point where in a lengthy code I stuck somewhere and I'm unable to get the bug, and finally I think of giving up. So can I ask you such doubts? If yes, through which medium? Through Instagram. Like I said, you can DM me on Instagram. I try to answer every question. Uh, we also have a Discord uh, server. It's not that active, but I am available there all the time. So on Discord as well, you can find the link of Discord server as well on StraightNet website on the homepage itself. Telegram also, you can find it there. So yeah, and whenever you get stuck with some bug in your code, try to look into the logs, try to see the exception logs, and there's always a hint there. You can always Google search, and Stack Overflow will help you. Otherwise, you can DM me on Instagram. All right, I guess, Arivag, thank you. Awesome website, helpful for me. Thank you. Nikhil has suggested a book, Cracking the Code interview book by Gail Lackman McDowell. I guess this is for DSA. Who asked for DSA book? Graham, Nikhil has posted a book. I guess you can try looking into that. So, Bharat Agrawal, I think if you can teach us full stack course live would help us understand things better. I know, and you wouldn't believe me. I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to uh, host free workshops, 3 or 4 days workshop where I can teach or where I can talk about full stack development or JavaScript or Node.js or AWS. Like I said, I have worked a lot with AWS. I've worked a lot with Docker and Kubernetes as well. So I want to do workshops on those as well. And now, the next thing for me is to learn Web3. I want to do those things, but right now don't have time. But I would definitely, plan something out and come up with something, because now I think some workshops are required. So a lot of we have a big community on Instagram as well, and they also demand for free workshops. They want me to get on with them in live sessions to teach these things. So I'll definitely plan something out. I definitely come up with something to help you guys with learning. And so yeah, we'll post in the community tab soon on YouTube, and let's see. So I think I can work out a 3 days workshop. That is something that I've been planning for a long time. 3 days workshop in the evening, and so it will initially be for JavaScript, because JavaScript is a good contender for full stack development, and for absolute beginners, for beginners who are getting into JavaScript. And similarly, we can also do workshops for Docker and AWS. I think these three things are, and Python as well. So four: JavaScript, Python, Docker, and AWS. And I think these four should be your focus as well. If you guys are learning how to code or getting into programming, I think these four, pick anyone, and you will have a good career. JavaScript, Python, Cloud, AWS, or Docker, Kubernetes. I think these four have very good potential. Ethical hacking as well. So I can also take workshops for ethical hacking. Yeah. So yeah, let me come up with something, and I'll definitely post. I'll definitely plan something out. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. And it was good. It was good to talk to you guys. You should get mods if you stream regularly. Yep, XRTY. Yes, I'll get mods. I don't stream regularly. This is my first live stream ever. I've done live stream on Instagram, but that's just holding your phone and talking to people. Comment. YouTube is very different. I'll definitely get better at it as I do more live sessions. But yeah, so okay. Uh, See you in the next live session. I hope to see you guys again. Let's keep talking, and I'll try to do this every weekend, so that we guys can know each other well, and I can be of help to you guys I think I can easily get 45 minutes out to guide you guys with anything that you want me to. Thank you everyone. Have a good day, have a good weekend ahead, and happy learning. Do watch Study Tonight, different videos. I'll be posting one video tomorrow, most probably tomorrow or on Sunday. And check out studytonight.com website as well. And if you want to chat with me or send me any message, or if you have any confusion, join us on Instagram, and you can anytime send a DM. All right. Thank you, everyone. Nice talking to you, XRTYS. Bye bye. Good night.